Okay, so this afternoon, I'm going to touch on a few things. Number one, is it a good time to buy? So that decision you have to make yourself. I'm going to give you some information to tell you where the market is heading, okay? And our little crystal ball going forward into this year, what you can expect to see, okay? More interestingly, this project is located in part of the bigger picture called the Northeast region. That's why the emphasis of the talk is today on the Northeast region. There is tremendous growth potential. Okay, now investing in Singapore today, you cannot take a short-term perspective. That means you cannot buy anything today, expect to sell tomorrow and make a lot of money. It doesn't happen anymore. Okay, so you have to look at it in perspective over the next 10 years, 15 years. What do I stand to gain? So property is a longer-term play. So if you are looking at shorter-term speculative kind of investments, is not property. Okay, cannot be property in today's market. Okay, and of course, we are going to look at Hougang, the hot spot within this Northeast region. And of course, since you're here at Water Bay, just highlight a few features about Water Bay in case you don't know. Okay, so million-dollar question, is now a good time to buy? So let's look at some of the numbers that we are seeing in the market and what is it telling us today. I'm going to cover both the HDB as well as the private market. So for those of you who are HDB homeowners, it has been a concern, okay, for many of us. And for those of you who are private, I will address the private property shortly. Okay, so HDB market, the property price has been trending downwards over the last 2 years. But what's interesting to note is that the price decrease has stopped. Okay, the price decrease has stopped in the last quarter. Okay, so in the final quarter of 2014, actually the market, these are URA HDB statistics. So they actually show that the property price has curved up by 0.1%. Okay, so after 2 years of price decline, any upside is a sigh of relief for those of us who are homeowners. Okay, so is this going to carry on? Are we expecting the price to rebound? Okay, so of course, if you are a homeowner, you will of course hope that the price will go back up. Okay, but you see, you got to balance. All right, the government has been so-called balancing the market with supply. So this year, you're continuing to see HDB launch new flats. All right, of course, by and large, they are focusing more this time. As you read in the newspaper a couple of days ago, they are focusing more on the mature estate. So they're not going to flood the newer areas with flats anymore. Okay, so this will help to stabilize price. So will this momentum continue? Of course, we hope it will, but definitely I do not think there will be a quick rebound. Okay, because there are several factors affecting. Okay, month to month, January price went down a little bit, but it's no concern because these are month-to-month fluctuation. But if you take an overall perspective, you look at HDB figures, it has gone up. Okay. What's interesting to note is that these market statistics, well, we track transaction over valuation. Okay, so plus minus is 1,000. That means on the average, every month, if you average out the transaction, majority of the transactions are trading either at plus 1,000 or minus 1,000 below valuation. So this, statistically speaking, is negligible. That means majority of transaction is actually done around valuation. All right, which is important. Okay, valuation, for those of you who want to know the definition, after you sell the flat, the buyer goes to get the valuation. The valuation is like a snapshot of the open market value of your property at that point in time. Okay, based on a willing seller, willing buyer scenario. So how the valuer arrives at the valuation is that they will analyze the comparables that have been transacted recently and make some adjustments to give a report called the valuation report. So that valuation report is like an indication this is the market value. So what is happening in the resale HDB market is that everything is transacting around the valuation. Okay? So in the last couple of days, last week, or you may have read in the newspaper, you have places like Pinnacle at Duxton selling at 1.0 Okay, highest price sold in Pinnacle at Duxton is 1.088 million. Okay, the second highest is 1.068888 million. These are 5-room flats. Okay, incidentally, these 2 units were sold by my company. Okay, so it looks good on the the resume. Okay, but that besides that, the point is that it's isolated incident. Okay, does not tell you that majority of HDB flat in Singapore can transact at such high price. That place can transact at that price because it has just turned 5 years, and there are a lot of people who are looking, okay, to get a unit there because previously they missed the boat. Okay, so this is the first run, and usually you will see some selling at headline prices, but it's no indication. Okay, so I did a tally last year. The total number of resale HDB flat that traded at 900,000 and above over the last year, only 114 units. Okay, overall market transaction 19,000. Okay, that tells you that the number of transactions that are actually 900,000 and above is 0.6% of entire. It's not representative of the whole market. Okay, so here and there, the newspaper need to sell newspaper, they will write, sensationalize the story. Okay, but by and large, majority is trading at valuation. So stabilizing prices likely to continue this year. Okay, you may see trickles. That means it may go up, it may come down, it may go up, it come down, but it's relatively very stable price. Okay, so if you are a homeowner, HDB, you can breathe a sigh of relief. The days of prices coming down at an angle, the price line coming down is over. Okay, it's going to be quite flat. Okay, transaction volume. This is happy news. Okay, for those of us who are in the property business, because transaction volume has rebound over last year. Okay, so between 2015 and 2016 is about 12% up in terms of the volume of transaction. Okay, so why are people buying the property? Because prices have stabilized. Okay, so it's just like in today's market. Later I'll show you private property. Transaction volume increase. Okay, transaction volume increased comparatively from 2014 2015. Why? Because prices stabilize, people are more confident. They don't feel that they're being creamed by the seller. So they are more confident of the price. Okay. So transaction has increased by about 12%. Okay. Overall rebound is likely to continue into 2016. Okay, so this year we are expecting the resale transaction to perhaps break the 20,000 barrier. Okay, you notice that the volume has picked up, but not in significant numbers. Okay, because the state of the market is on a recovery basis. Okay, it's just like if you have fallen ill, you recover slowly. You don't suddenly just jump to life. So the market is restarting. Okay, in terms of the volume of transactions. So this is a normal behavior. Okay, this shows you the majority of flats sold are actually 4-room, and then 5-room is the second largest. Okay. Okay, put things in perspective. For those of you who are homeowners, HDB, you find that over 7 to 8 years, your price has doubled. If you have bought resale, okay, and over 8 years, less than 10 years, your price actually doubled. Okay, and from that peak that we measure the price decline, okay, the price has only gone down by less than 10%. Okay, so technically speaking, anybody who's selling a HDB flat today in the market is not losing money. All right, it's only that the days of the frothy market where you're able to sell at 50,000, 100,000 above valuation does not exist anymore. Okay, it cannot exist. It's not healthy. Okay, so what is important to know that whatever transaction is done today is supported by valuation, which means you are selling at market value, which is a rational market behavior. Okay, so nothing to worry about. Okay, let's look at private property. What can we know about the private property market? Okay, prices have come down over the last 2 years or so, but comparatively speaking, the price now is at 2011 level. We are 2016, but you're buying today at 5-year ago price. Okay, it has adjusted. The market has adjusted. We have not plunged, okay, because we are not in recession, we're not affected by external shock. The market has readjusted itself, recalibrated to what we call a 2011 level. Okay, so what's interesting to note is that if you own prime property, last night I was at a dinner organized by one of the major developers in Singapore. So the CEO giving his speech, he said that actually, though the market, if you look at statistics, the price index only come down by about 8%, but actually, all right, if you are a developer and you're holding stock, okay, in high-end property, you are taking more than 8% hit. All right, so that's the reality. So this graph is meant to show you something, is that the value in the suburban area is holding out a lot better, okay, in this decline than the ones in the central region. So those people who are owning property in the central region are taking a bigger hit, all right, in a decline, all right. So it tells you that there is a sustained base for properties in the suburban region. Okay, because by and large, the majority of property buyers in Singapore buy suburban region. Okay, because later I will show you the majority of transaction is actually 1.5 million and below. That is suburban property price. Okay, so year on year, there's very little change. All right, that means the market has started to stabilize. Okay, and the rate of decline has actually slowed down. So if you're a private property owner, the rate of decline has actually slowed down, okay, which is again good news. All right, so monthly prices are now quite stable. You see, why you will see, if this is plot over time, so there are sectors where you see big plunge and big increase. So those are abnormality. The market is behaving abnormally. Okay, so why can it plunge like this is a crisis, okay? Crisis. During those days is 2008, Lehman Brothers days. Okay, of course the upswing is due to key drivers, uninhibited, no control over the drivers that are driving the market, like cheap loans, easy money and all that, so the price line can go up. But now with all the moderations in the market, you find that the price line has started to stabilize. Okay, so this to us as property investor, property buyer, is telling you that this period is a stable price period. Okay, it's a stable price period. Will it plunge? What can cause price to plunge is a crisis. For example, a war breaks out. For example, there's a financial crisis that we cannot see one happen to us. Okay, one thing all of us have to be aware of is we are a small country. So as a small country, we are a price taker. We are a price taker. Whatever external shock, it affects Singapore a lot more today, okay, than in the past, because we are very, very open. Okay, but so this is a reinforcement of what I was trying to tell you, that the price drop is actually the smallest in the last drop in more than 2 years. So the price has started to so-called slow down. Okay, slow down. So will the price go down some more? Okay, it may happen. Okay, but again, the good thing is that it has slowed down. Okay, it has slowed down. So it's a sign that things are stabilizing. Okay, so property price market, for our outlook for this year, is expected to be status quo. That means we see it as stable. Okay, stable already. The things that can cause the market to jolt, to go up or down, is neutralized already. So it's quite stable environment. However, okay, there are things that can cause the price to move. Okay, so like, a lot of people have been trying to push the government, 搞了啦, 2 years, lift the cooling measure. Okay, so they are quite reluctant to do it, okay, for the very simple reason, the concern is about price. Okay, our government knows that a lot of people have money and waiting for them to change the measure. Okay, so they are thinking what to do, okay, calibrating. So we don't know exactly when. Okay, of course, in the news yesterday and the day before, some market watcher and market mover has attempted to speculate that certain time, but all these remain speculation, because decision you cannot tell our government what to do. Okay. Interest rates can affect the market. So later I'll show you the impact of a 1% increase in interest rate. What is the impact on your loan? Okay, so that you have to factor in, okay, when you buy a property. And of course, any external shocks that we can unforeseen. Okay, so you will see a lot of this in the news, sensationalized it, like talk until like the interest rate increase a lot, right? But actually not lah. Okay, those of you who have existing property loan with your bank, when your bank recalibrate the interest rate, it's actually very marginal increase only. Very, very marginal increase. So your installment changed by maybe, depend on your outstanding amount, changed by very, very little. Okay? So the bottom line is this, okay? I use 100,000. So you multiply this figure by the number of 100,000 you still owe the bank. Okay? So around now you're trading around 2%. Okay? Maybe some still below 2%. So 2% on 100,000 loan over 25 years is about 423. So if you increase by 1%, let's say tomorrow the bank say, I increase your interest rate by 1%. That means for 100,000 loan, your installment increased by $50. But you know this won't happen in Singapore. Okay, the bank will not suddenly increase 1% overnight. You can see it coming when they will increase little bit, right? So you have time to respond to this change. Okay, so the point is this, every 1% increase, it will only result in a $50 increase on a $100,000 loan. So if it's 1 million, then it's $500 increase. All right, so that's it. Is it a big problem? Okay, if you have taken your loan from 2013 after the TDSR has come in, or if you have refinanced your property since then, you're quite safe. Do you know why? Because when the bank calculate your loan, they actually use 3.5%. They use 3.5% to calculate your loan for your approval. So anybody who can buy a property today or have bought a property in the last 2 years, from 2013 June until today, if you are qualified for a bank loan, you can take the shock up to 3.5%. The bank has calculated using 3.5%. So now we are still at 2%. You still have a 1.5%. Of course, we hope that won't happen. Okay, it shouldn't. All right. Okay, transaction volume. Okay, what's happening in the market? So if you look at transaction volume today, the volume is predominantly driven by new launches. Okay, in the market today, about half the transaction is new launches, half is resale. It used to be more new launches and less resale, but the figure now is about half-half. Okay, so these are the preliminaries. But what I want to tell you is this, that the market has, for new launch, has gone up, is about quite flat last year. Okay, for resale, which is a secondary market, it has picked up. Okay, so those of you who own private property and you actually need to offload in order to buy something, the good news is that it's quite an active market today. There are a lot of people who are looking at the resale market to pick up a buy. Those people who need housing immediately, so they are not too keen about waiting 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years for property to be developed. Okay, and a lot are buying for owner occupation. Okay, so if you just observe, maybe where you stay, you will notice that during the weekends, viewing is quite busy. Okay, you will see agents bringing customers to view property in your area. It start to be more active, especially in the next, starting now, March, April, May, these few months, you will see more and more happening. All right, the resale market is active. So those of you who need to dispose of something in order to buy something, the good thing is that the resale market is picking up. Okay, so so if we total up everything, you see the number of transactions is about the same. Okay, status quo so this year. Okay, so okay, so people know, okay, the market is quite stable in terms of number of transactions. So what is the most popular price range? So most popular price range is 1.5 million and below. This will account for about 70% of market transactions today. So this will be all majority of the mass market suburban property project. Okay, so if you're holding a property that's priced above 2 million, 3 million, or that you will take a little bit longer to find a buyer. Not that say cannot sell. Okay, is any property can sell. All right, it's a matter of time and price. Okay, so our forecast for 2016 for private property, stable market conditions. All right, there's no jolt in the system. All right, so which is a good thing, because our government now, okay, if they want to change anything, all right, they have a stable market condition to think. They like to think. Okay, think. So let them think. all right? And they will calibrate when the time comes. Actually, nobody knows. Every one of us, we have been trying to fish information wherever there's a meeting and all that. Nothing is coming out, all right? So they're still thinking. Okay, so go back to our point is, if you buy today, in summary, if you buy anything today, you're buying in a very stable market condition. That means you do not need to worry that you're being sold a property at a premium, okay? Because nobody will do it today. Most developers, most sellers are more interested in getting the property sold, okay? But of course, will there be a lelong cut price thing? No, there's no push factor. Okay, we are not in economic recession, we're not affected by any crisis, so it's status quo. So status quo means you're selling today, okay, at a recalibrated price of a stable market. Okay, so if I buy today, what's the future gonna be like? Okay, our take is that if you adopt a 10, 15-year horizon, the future is fantastic. Okay, the future is fantastic. I'm gonna show you a few slides. These are from our Economic Development Board's website, okay, statistics. Okay, so Singapore is the #1 city with the best investment potential. This is in the EDB website. Okay, this is not EDB study. This is based on an independent study by Barry. Okay, Barry is a business environment risk. They are independent party. Okay, so Singapore is rated #1 in terms of investment potential. So this is good. Okay, that means our economy is stable going forward. Okay, the other thing is this is probably the easiest place to do business. Do you know it's very easy to start a business in Singapore? Okay, your registration, there's no red tape, no nothing. You can do everything online. You can just up and go just the very next day. Okay? We are very competitive. If you compare with the other major countries in the world, we are #2. Okay, so all this is from the EDB website. If you, in your own time, you can go and do your own research there. Okay? The other one, best business environment. So all this going forward has a lot of good things happening for Singapore. Okay, what about our workforce? Okay, of course, there's here and there you will hear ministers say productivity growth 0 Okay, because we are in transition. Okay, previously we relied a lot on foreign labor, so we're trying to transit into be less reliant on foreign labor. So there's an adjustment period. So of course now there's 0 productivity growth. Okay, but look at it this way: if you talk to anybody who want to set up business in Singapore, they will tell you this is that the workforce here is solid. Okay, you speak English, you're very well educated, and the people learn very fast. Okay, so which is a good thing. Okay, so the other thing about this is, when Singapore, our government, EDB, goes out to compete with other countries to try and get foreign investors to come to Singapore to set up businesses here, we get the lion's share of the investment. Okay, I show you the chart. It didn't occur to me until I actually highlight the chart. Okay, so can you imagine you go and pitch together with other countries, okay, in our neighbors, to go and get business for Singapore, you get the bulk of it. All the money come to Singapore. I mean, all the investments come to Singapore rather than our neighboring countries. All right, so this going forward, this has a lot of positive implications, okay, on employment, on growth, and on our property, of course. Okay, the other thing about foreign manpower, okay, we are in transition. Government say rely less on foreign manpower, but you know that the foreign manpower love it here. They love to work here, right? Because 65% of them earn more money if they come here. It's a very simple thing. Because you're doing so well economically, I come here, I make more money. So a lot of them want to come here. Okay, come here, they don't want to go back. All right, so they want to stay here. All right, so those that they stay here, all right, again, it's transition. Okay, I will watch the budget quite closely. It's upcoming, Heng Swee Keat's first budget. The vibes is that there's some recalibration. Okay, the vibe says that there's some recalibration as far as foreign manpower is concerned. They're not totally changing it, but there's some recalibration. Okay, because I think over the last 2 years, they have, the manpower ministry actually visit every company and talk to the bosses. All right, so they actually came down to see us, see me personally, and discuss a lot of things about manpower and all that kind of thing to try to understand the things on the ground. So that is a sign that they are going to make some changes, I believe. All right? Okay, so we are the top destination for expats. All right, so all this has implication because it's going to affect your rental market. Okay, the other thing is centers of wealth. You know, Singapore is one of the key wealth management center in Asia. Okay, and this will help us to grow, okay, the investment environment in Singapore. Okay, of course, the other thing that we all don't like to talk too much about is the population policy. All right, actually now it's radio silence, but actually it's still going to happen. Okay, it is still going to happen. All right, by 2030, 6.5 to 6.9 million people. Now the infrastructure is being bumped up. All right, every other day you will hear, okay, you will hear the transport, okay, putting things together, hospitals being put up, all this. They don't spend a lot of money doing all this for nothing. Okay, it's to gear for a larger population in the years to come. It will still happen. Okay, so what does this mean? What does this mean? That means there will be more demand for housing. There will be more demand, okay, for land, okay, and everything will help us to have our asset price appreciate over time. Okay, so a longer term perspective is very, very positive. So of course, the government does not lead everything to happen by itself, okay? Because 90% of Singapore population owns a home, so everyone has a stake in this. So the master plan, okay, it plays a very important role. Okay, so when you are buying property, actually one of the key things is to know the master plan. And today information is very transparent. Okay, just in case you don't know it, you can actually carry the master plan with you wherever you go, you know. Okay, there's an application called the 2014 Master Plan. You can download it into your phone. So for example, let's say you're buying a property, and then you want to know whether this view will change or not. No? Okay, you want to, when you're buying this property, this view is very important, right? You want to know whether this view will change or not. Check the master plan. Instantly, you can pull it out, and you'll see this is nature reserve. That means what? Won't change. Correct? Okay, so this is very important. All right, master plan. Okay, the other thing that impacts us more importantly as property owners are employment centers. This is what Singapore will look like in 2030. Okay, the blue circles are commercial centers. The blue circles are commercial centers, commercial hubs. The orange circles, they are industrial areas, industrial hubs. Okay, so where we are is in the northeast. Okay, so you will see our nearest, we are in the Serangoon area, where there's a blue circle, and there's also the entire northern region which is made out of industries that will be developed, okay, in the next 10, 15 years. Okay, if you remember from PM Lee's National Day rally, okay, last year he showed you the visions of what's going to happen in the northeast coast, okay, which is the next phase of development. So this will have implications flowing into the regions that are nearest, okay, to the northeast coast, all right, which is areas like here, okay. The other thing is the park connector network. We are just beside one park connector. All right, so and you know they are pushing towards car light eventually. So every one of us will own a bicycle. Standard issue. Can you imagine there are 5.8 million bicycles in Singapore? I cannot imagine. Okay, but more and more people will own bicycle. All right, and so one of the very fun way to get around will be the cycle. Okay, yeah. So recently I changed one of my old car when it was scrapped. I bought a SUV. Why? I want to put bicycle. All right, because you buy sedan car cannot put bicycle. Put on top, crash under the barrier. So I put it in the SUV. Right. Okay. Why do we want to invest in the Northeast region? I just run through these. A lot of things are being put together. As you drive around, you will see work in progress. So they are actually re-livening the heartlands. Okay, we are part of Serangoon area. This is a very, some of us grew up here. Okay, some of us grew up here, so it's actually quite old already. So the heartlands is being rejuvenated. Okay, there will be more community spaces, facilities coming out. So you have your community hospitals, the Sengkang General Hospital. All this will be falling into place by 2018. Okay, it's in fact reported in a newspaper by 2018, the Sengkang Hospital will be ready. Okay, and then we have creating employment in the Northeast region. Okay, this will have implications on demand for housing in this part of the world. Okay, all these are falling into place. And then we also have the aerospace, which is a drive to Seletar, okay, via the expressway. Okay, transport connectivity is being improved. There'll be more buses, MRT routes. There's the Cross Island Line. Okay, this will fall into place by 2013. So places like these would benefit because it's cutting right through Hougang. All right. What else can I tell you? Okay, roads are being improved. If you driving to the city is very important. Okay. I drove here all the way from the west. I thought I'll be late actually, but I actually got here pretty quickly. All right, despite the traffic. So the certain parts you have actually a free, okay, a kind of expressway kind of thing. Okay, transport connectivity, more buses, more roads. Okay, what else can we say? Green spaces. So green spaces are very important because when you buy any property, it is good to be living near a green space. Okay, so a place like this, you may not understand it fully, but I stay near one of these reserves. Okay, and I have a balcony, and my wife likes to keep plants. So we have some plants, and we have plants that have flowers. Okay, so what happens every morning without fail? Okay, at about 8 o'clock in the morning, we will have these lovely birds that will come to our flowers. Okay, we have this kind of plant that every day the flower just blooms, and that's it. It will fade away. So every day, this yellow flower will come out. We have new flowers every day. Okay, so every day, this bunch of birds are very, very nice. Some of them are blue. You never see them normally. These are not your normal black birds that you see on the road, no? Okay, these are very, very birds that you never see before. One. Okay, blue color birds. Got yellow color birds. They'll come and they'll sing. Okay, and they'll just come to around the flowers every day without fail. Okay, so it's a very nice feeling. And that's usually the time I have my breakfast. So, our friends are here, you know, and it's a very nice feeling. So when you stay near something like this, things like this will happen. Okay, it's a nice environment to stay. Okay, so Park Connector, no need to say, you should try it out. You only get better and better, okay? Okay, so Hougang. Let me show you the numbers about here, okay? Numbers don't lie. Okay, Hougang is one of the popular districts in terms of the volume of transaction. Okay, volume of transaction is one of the higher ones. Okay, relatively, one of the key attractions of buying into Hougang today is because it's in transition. It's an established estate, but yet it is in transition. All right, so what happens is, in this whole area, Serangoon, Hougang, all right, you see people buying because of the price is not at a premium. It's at a very, very stable price. Okay? But in terms of change in price, this tracks the price from the lowest point in the last few years to the current level. Okay? So what happens is from the lowest point to bottom to peak, the appreciation is that Hougang actually outperforms the suburban region. OCR is a suburban region. Okay? So the overall residential property price that climbed from the bottom of the cycle to the peak of the cycle, prices went up by 62%. Suburban region went up by about 75%, but the Hougang double the price. Okay, Hougang Serangoon area. When I say Hougang, it's Hougang Serangoon, this whole area. And we look at transaction numbers. Okay. So you put it onto a graph, it looks something like this. We are looking at the blue line, Serangoon Hougang. Okay. What about in the last few years where prices were coming down? So prices come down is very resilient. Okay, resilient. Hougang is 0.505%, okay, etc. Okay, so the prices are quite resilient as a region. Okay, lastly, let's talk about Kingsford. All right. So location, we are in this part of the world, okay, that is directly fronting this river. I don't know, the experience when you suddenly just turn off the road and you come into Serangoon, Upper Serangoon View, you suddenly, this whole place opens up to you. Okay, and it's actually facing the river. Okay, so it's quite a nice place to be in. Okay, the neighborhood is a quiet neighborhood. It's a neighborhood, you're not living in the town center. All right, town center is very, very noisy. Okay, but living in this part of the world where it's nice, it's serene. Okay, and for buying property, we are involved in a lot of resale business. So I can tell you this, if you buy property, okay, if your property face water, anytime, it's a lot easier to sell and a lot easier to rent. Okay, so this development has got water view both sides, whichever you want. You want to look at natural water, you face this side. You want to look at man-made water structure, you look at the other side. So two sides. Okay, you choose which one you want. Okay, so this is the facing this river. Okay, you're probably at the widest part, okay, of the river. Okay, so this is what they show you will look like. Okay, imagine your balcony looking out to this part. Okay, in the morning, it's quite nice. Okay, so for convenience, there's a lot of stuff nearby. There's malls and there's eateries, there's schools and all that. Okay, so all this, I think the respective marketing people, they will have a more close-up plan to show you. Okay, they are not too far away from food. I think if you live in this part of the world, makan is the key thing. A lot of things to eat. Okay, yeah, you'll love it here. Okay, schools, you're not short of schools. All right, many schools in the region. All right, and then of course, employment clusters are very important. If you're looking for it to support your value going forward, okay, the value of your property, being near to employment centers is extremely important. Okay, it basically tells you the kind of tenants you will get, okay, the kind of people that you may eventually sell your house to, all right? Okay, so all these are very convenient. Okay, the other thing is that they have a childcare center within the development, just in case it's important to you. All right, they have a childcare center. And what else? Okay, there's your part of the Hougang rejuvenation, okay, works that's been going on. This is a photo from HDB, okay, the rejuvenated town center in the years to come. All right, and then there's a lot of stuff happening. All right, this is from the Straits Times. We are just, all right, in the midst of Hougang being changed. So we are right there at the riverfront housing. Okay, there's a lot of things being changed in the whole of Hougang, Serangoon. Okay, so lots of water and lots of things to think about. And I think did Kenneth tell you what's in the eggs? What's in those eggs over there? Okay, I leave him to tell you, huh? Okay, don't spoil his show. All right, so I'm about done. Okay, spot on. All right, so that's all I have this afternoon. I'll hand you back now to Kenneth. Thank you.